Have you ever given much thought to your origin story? This is the story of your story. What was happening in your world when you were born? This is a story you have no memory of, and the only way you're going to have a memory of it is based upon your family's experiences and how they express that to you. So, when you were born, did your family have enough to feed you? Were they excited about your birth? Were they kind to each other? Were they being abusive to each other? What was the experience that your little being was having because you were here on the planet? And if your mother didn't plan you and she wasn't able to afford you, did she resent you? Did you grow up feeling that? Were you adopted? Were you in foster care? Did you feel that sense of loss of your primal origin story? Did you lose part of yourself in your childhood because not of your own choosing? I want you to think about what your experience was and how your family responded to it, because how they responded to it is how they expressed to you their feelings about you. This is a big thought. This is a big thing to think about, because these are things you don't remember, but it's going to be something you carry inside of your primal being, that this is who I am, this is what I'm worth because of my origin story, because of how my family treated me from before I could remember. So this story is 0 to 3 years old, sometimes 4 years old. But yet how that feeling is within our bodies lives through the rest of our lives. So sometimes when we start therapy, we're going to need to start exploring that and accessing some memories maybe from people who were there at the time and putting some dots together about how we were treated, about who we were way before we could even remember, because those patterns take hold. Now, if you have a sibling, my little nest has a sibling, you might think, well, they both came out of the same nest. Well, not at the same time sometimes, unless they were twins. And unless they were identical twins, they were different from each other. And families respond and react to each other based upon their own healing and their own wounding. So a child who may seem a lot like their family may be preferred to a child who is very different from what their expectations were of that child. And so again, origin story. So I want you to assess, what was my origin story? What are those stories that lingered? How did my parents feel about me? What do I feel about how they felt about me? Explore all of that, because there's one thing that is true. You are your own. You don't belong to them anymore. You are your own being. You have your own identity. So you can love them, but you for yourself are going to need to find healing. And that may not always be through your family of origin. It may be through sources of love if your family struggles with that wounding. So I encourage you to find the love. And also